right, welcome back to On the Screws Golf. My name is Hank, and we are here to do a rookie walkthrough. This shouldn't take very long. I just wanted to bring your attention to the slope examples on the left-hand side of the screen. We are going to be talking about a lot of wind adjustments and elevation changes throughout the course today. So I just wanted to go over this real briefly. So as you can see, at that highest level, when you're hitting your golf shot uphill, you have to take 10% off. So that would be your first adjustment or example. So 2 miles per hour, you're going to take 10% of 2 miles per hour, which is 0.2, and that gives you an adjustment of your rings at 1.8 miles per hour. That's just an example. Now, if you look at if you're hitting just a level shot, you can see there's no adjustment at all. 2 miles per hour, you're not adjusting. You're going to adjust your rings for 2 miles per hour. And then finally, when you're hitting downhill 10%, you are going to add 10%. The ball flies further, it's going to land farther, and it's going to roll farther. Its ball compression is going to go out. So 2.0 plus the 0.02, which is a 10% adjustment in a positive way, you're now going to adjust 2.2 miles per hour to compensate for that longer distance in the air, okay? So with that being said, that's a very basic tutorial on wind adjustments, and I tried to give you a scale that you can understand. So if you're hitting uphill, you're going to take percentages away. If you're going to hit downhill, the ball's going to fly farther. You're going to add distance, okay, or adjustments. All right, with that being said, let's get on. Hole number one, Parc de Paris. This is the hole number one in that tour. And what we're going to concentrate on today are all black lines for low to medium club rookies, okay? So on your first hole, again, this will vary based on club accuracies as well as how leveled up your different clubs are. So what's good for, let's say, my example in this video, you may have to adjust up or down depending on the value of your clubs as well as the ball compilation that you have in your bag. So if you have Kingmakers, use them. If you have only Katanas, you're going to have to use those. So here we go. First of all, first tee shot of the day is going to be 10% adjustment. We're going over water and slightly downhill. So with that being said, we're going to use an extra mile on this. And if you have a little bit leveled up, maybe a quarterback or something where you have a ball guide, you may be able to hit it in this first fairway and put the ball guide out there and hop that first fairway and land it up near and roll it out towards that first black circle. If not, a extra mile with a Titan ball to get you out there, or a Katana with a little maybe overpower, bouncing it in the first fairway with the top spin and left spin will get you in that desired area. Your second shot would be a backbone or a Goliath. You're probably going to have to use a hop shot in that second portion of the fairway, which will then bounce over, and with your backspin or possibly neutral spin, you'll bounce over that and go down that gentle slope, which will go from right to left down towards the hole and cozy in there either for a made eagle or a very secured birdie putt. We have a red line on this, and every time you see red line in this tutorial, it's not really the way you want to go. For low to mid rookies, your clubs just are not leveled up enough for you to go to the end of that first fairway and try to do top spin and bounce with overpower potentially to try and get out into that next fairway for a very easy short iron or wedge, which would be a great opportunity for an eagle. Now, if you have medium plus to high level rookie clubs, yeah, you may want to consider it. Maybe in the opening round or maybe even qualifying, give it a shot because you have 3 chances to qualify. So, but for mid to low rookies, that is not the angle you want to go. So that was hole number one. Oh, sorry guys. All right, hole number two. This is Nordic Fjords. This was hole number 4 in one of our recent tournaments. And you can see that you have two options here. We're going to go on the left side first, and that is if you have the wind with you from behind you, left to right, pushing the ball towards the pin, probably like a backbone, maybe a Goliath, depends on your preference and the level it's on. You're going to use a couple bars of maybe a ball and a half of spin, a couple bars of top spin, and a bunch of curl to get it off that left pad, heading towards the hole. And again, on all of these par threes in this Nordic Fjords tournament, they were difficult. Get it on the green, be satisfied with a birdie, and move on to the next hole. Do not try to overcompensate and get the perfect angle and the perfect shot. Hit it with some margin for error off of these pads and get it on the green and make your putt. If it happens to go in based on a mishit or a great shot or something like that, so be it. Good for your scorecard, but let's get it on the green and make the putt. Now, going to the right-hand side, we're going to use probably every time the Goliath because you're going to need extra distance with your club. A katana ball would be fine here because you have the club distance. You won't need the Titan ball. And the katana gives you more spin, so you'll be able to spin it obviously from right to left and get it in there close. So that ball does not funnel as much as you think on this hole. It's more of a flat landing zone on that green, so you need to make sure you get past that first collar, bounce it on the green, and hopefully you have the right spin so you get it close. That also is a plus 10% adjustment due to over the water. You're hitting over the water, so we make that 10% adjustment. Anything else? No, we're good there. So, number 3. This is a par 5. This was the Nordic Fjords hole number 9. This was an interesting yet difficult hole. The drive is, it's all about the drive. If you can get it set up on the black side here, on the black line, and use a extra mile and then bounce it over with maybe 1 to 1.5 backspin and just nestle it out there where that black circle is, you're in great shape for shot number 2, which would be your big dog. Big dog could be anywhere depending on the wind again. 1 bar of backspin to 0 bars of backspin depending on the level of your club, or it could be upwards of 2 to 2.5 bars of topspin to get up that slope prior to the green and make it on the green for an easy eagle attempt. So, extra mile, Titan ball. If you have wind in your face or a side wind, excuse me, if you have wind at your back, you're definitely going to use probably some backspin. You're going to bounce it right in front of that trap, bounce it right over the lip of that trap and let it roll out when you have tailwind behind you, and you'll probably use a Titan or a katana ball on that. And again, we talked about the big dog. Here on the right-hand side, for real basic rookie players, I know the Temptation looks amazing over there because it's so wide open and you have a lot of room for your mishits, etc. But I will tell you that going over on that red line, when you overpower it and get it down to where the first red circle is, you basically have no chance with the level of clubs from medium or lower rookie clubs to get that second shot to the green for an eagle. So you'll be then taking a big dog or whatever wood club you have, hitting it up past that little lake in the middle up there, short of that rough patch, and then having to chip it for a chance at eagle or an easy birdie. So again, the red line is something that we probably don't want to attempt unless, of course, you're brand new and your clubs are so low level that you need the variance and the opportunity to have mishits with your clubs. So that will be hole number 3. Moving on to hole number 4, which is a Parc de Paris, hole number 8 in that tour. Par 3 here, we are also going to use a 10% adjustment because it's going uphill. It's going downhill, but you're going to be, once you get to the green on your bounce, it's going to be bouncing up into the slope and going uphill. So, plus 10%. You can use a Goliath or a Backbone here. I usually use the Goliath. I'm just used to that club and the needle speed in this tour. The Backbone has a little bit more club accuracy, so that will give you the ability to have less adjustments with the wind. So that's always an option as well. I think both have the right distance to get you to that area where the black circle is, and that's going to be between the two shadows. Once you get on the course, you'll see that there's a landing spot right where those two shadows are, a little bit to the right side of the green, where you'll hit some 2 to 3 bars of backspin, maybe 1 or 2 side spin, and then you'll have it maybe about 4 or 5 balls outside the left and curl it in there and go for the hole in one. So make sure you do yourself a favor. Make your adjustments short of the hole so it just rolls out to the hole or just past the hole. If you let your ball guide bounce even with a hole, it will go over the green, into the fringe, you'll be chipping back, or into that back bunker, which is exactly disaster. You don't want that. And then again, if you hit it too short, which is well short of the green, that will come back down into the valley, and that's not where you want to be on that hole either. All right, moving on. Okay. Hole number 5, another par 5 we're going to tackle here. This is the Parc de Paris hole, number 3 in that tour. On this tee shot, again, moving downhill and then back uphill into the landing zone, which is, again, another plus 10% adjustment. So you're going to add value to the miles per hour per ring so that your landing zone is appropriate and you are not in the rough, in the bunker, or you fly the ball too far as you try to bounce it off that first fairway and then roll it out into that neck up there on the left side of the first black line. So there's an option here for the big topper as well, if you have that leveled up enough. But again, the big topper has such a wide margin for its club accuracy. So I believe that each ring value is 2.7 miles per hour. So that is, you have to be very precise and perfect with that club. And especially when you're going up into this neck and you're bouncing it over, you may want to take a club that gives you more accuracy so that you have less variance to hit a good, perfect, or a great shot. So keep that in mind. So the black straight line on the left, it bounces in that first fairway. You then give it all top spin, some left spin, and curl it through that neck up in there, and you land in that first black circle. You then bring your big dog or whichever club that is leveled up enough. You may have chosen the Hammerhead. You may have chosen the Viper. Whichever club gives you the best distance and the best control of your shot, you're going to bring that with you on this hole. Everyone, hopefully, because of the clan points and the clan races, should have multiple bags now in your profile, so you can be prepared, so you can switch in-game if necessary if you forget. You'll take that second shot off the second rough way up there at the top. You'll bounce it over to the front of the green and roll it up close. Very difficult chance to make an albatross here unless you keep it up on the top, almost in the rough on the left-hand side of the green, and trickle it down for a albatross. Very difficult. The second rookie line would be the bent or the sloping black line on the right, where you can do a power shot, maybe a little bit of a curl, and then full backspin. If you have medium to leveled up rookie clubs, you may be able to hit a power ball over the first fairway, over the trap, into that second fairway, through the neck, through the rough, and trickle out onto the fairway up there. That would be pretty much max top spin, max left spin with 3/4, maybe 75% of the ball curled to the left. And if you navigate that successfully, you'll be out near that second black circle. Again, your best controllable wood that gives you the distance and control that you're comfortable with, bring that. Could be a big dog, Hammerhead, Guardian, any of those. You'll hit that second ball onto that second fairway, bounce it into the front of the green, and make your eagle putt with no problem. Thirdly, and last but not least, the red line. This again for those individuals that just are not prepared to take those first two shots. You can take an easier route, which will be hitting in the first fairway, bouncing it over the fairway in that bunker, rolling it out into that right-hand side of the fairway, taking your second shot, bouncing it off the second fairway into the third fairway, and then taking a long iron into the green, trying to get it close for an easy birdie putt. I think I went over extra mile, big topper. Those are your options off the tee. You're going to go big dog, hammerhead, viper, your whatever your most appropriate bag is. And then when you're taking your second shot, I must mention this. You need to take 10% away because you're going uphill significantly from that valley. So you need to take 10% away. 10% plus on the drive, minus 10% on the second shot. So get your notepads out, get your note sheets out for the tournament, and make some adjustments as you're in the game, as you're moving forward. Okay, moving on. Hole number 6. Porthello Cove, which is number 7 in that tour. Okay, you have some options here again. We're going to start on the left-hand side, probably an extra mile here, where you're going to maybe have to do a little bit of an overpower here with full top and full right spin if you would like to try and bounce it over from the first fairway to the second fairway. Or you can play it safe and just hit a little bump shot out there to the edge of that first fairway and then take your second shot with a long iron into that green and make an easy birdie. Or what you can do is you can go to the right-hand side, which is the other black line, which I do, and I take a quarterback. I'll hit it out there with the ball guide, some backspin, and have it nestle up right where that edge of that fairway is and the beginning of the rough where that black circle is, and then have a short iron in like a Hornet or a Thorn, and in some cases you may have a longer iron, but you can play that with the appropriate backspin and get that close pretty much every time for an easy birdie. The eagle, it's not that difficult if you have the right winds, but it can be very difficult if you have a side wind. So one last time, if you're going to go left, you need the wind coming from behind you from left to right, pushing the ball towards the hole. If you do not have that, do not try that power curl or that hop shot where you can see it in red out there. If you do that, you're going to have that much more precision that is going to be needed on your adjustments. If you have it from right to left, it's just going to push that ball up towards the top rough, and you're going to give yourself a little bit more difficult of a time based off of your second shot and the adjustments and the needle speed. So just keep that in mind. All right. And again, these are all preferences. If you like the Thorn over the Hornet, if you like the Claw over the Hornet, if you like the quarterback over extra mile, if you want to use the big topper, etc. These are just guides that can help you and give you a little bit of information prior to heading out into the qualifying rounds on Monday. Okay. Hole number 7. Another Porthello Cove hole. This is hole number 2 in that tour. This one, we're going to go anywhere between 20 and maybe upwards of 30% adjustment, depending on the wind, depending on your clubs, etc. With that being said, this is a plus adjustment, okay? Plus 20, plus 25, plus 30. You're going to have to tweak that as you go based on the winds, okay? And obviously, in the later rounds, you're going to probably see it from, in the beginning rounds, you're going to see it from left to right behind you. In the later rounds, it may switch from right to left behind you, which will push the ball even further to the left and outside the hole and maybe into that fringe area. So be careful of that. So we have two options here. The first being on the left-hand side, which would be more or less a long iron where you can use topspin and right curl. So you might want to use a katana here and just bounce it off the fringe and then roll it gently down in there for a very easy eagle, so that you don't give yourself any risk at possibly having a great ball and hitting it in the rough and be short and have a long chip, or possibly hitting it into that bunker on the right. That is the first option. The second option on the right is hitting a Viper with your backspin, a Guardian with your backspin. Got to worry about the ball guides though. But if you have a good flavor or a feel in tour play with your clubs and where the ball lands and where you can adjust for, those will be perfect clubs on this hole with your adjustments of 20 to 30%, and then your backspin, your right spin, and then try to cozy it in there for a possible hole-in-one and or a very easy birdie. And again, tournament time is about getting the ball on the green close so you make birdies and eagles, okay? It's not about making albatrosses. It's not about making hole-in-ones. Those are nice when they come, right? That will separate you as you move up into the pro tours, the expert tours, etc. But in the rookie tours, and you have medium to low clubs, it's about getting the ball into the spot where these circles are, hitting it appropriately with the right topspin, the right side spin, adjusting for the winds, and getting the ball on the green close so you can make these easy birdies. Okay, let's move on. Hole number 8. Par 4, Eagle Peak hole number 1 in the Eagle Peak Tours. We're going to have lots of options here, right? I've seen it every way. I've seen people make eagles, birdies, pars, bogeys in every way you can on this hole. So let's start with the big, and I drew it with a curve on it because I just wanted to give you more lines that you could see so it's not confusing. But we're going to go to the right side, all the way down towards those two bunkers. That is going to be just basically a straight shot with a little bit of right curl on it. Bounce it off that fairway up there and keep it between those two trees. You're going to put as much topspin on it as you can. A big topper might be a good option here. You have a lot of variance out there in the landing zone. You just have to make sure that your ball follows the ball guide and ends up in the fairway out there. Your second shot then would be a Goliath, or maybe even a Saturn if you have it leveled up enough where you can get it up on the green and get it close for an easy birdie. The important thing here is if you can get the ball as far down there as possible, because if you're too close to that left bunker and those trees, you're going to have a difficult time getting around those trees and or up and over them. So you're going to want to lay back to the right so you have enough angle to bend it around those trees in that rough and curl it in for an easy birdie. So that is the first option. The second option we'll take with the second curve, and that's going to go from right to left. You're going to bounce it down in the fairway with a katana ball, an extra mile, a quarterback, and you're going to have full left spin, a little bit of back spin on it, so that it, hits down in that fairway. It's going down that slope, and you're going to move to the left and get as close down to that rough as possible and that shadow on the fairway down in that gully. Then you'll take a second shot. You have two options here, a Saturn or a Backbone off the little pad and bump it on with a top spin. Or you can, if it's leveled up enough with enough backspin, you can go for it and hit it right over the fringe with full backspin and try to make an eagle with 2 or 3 hops and watch it go into the bottom of the cup. So that's an option as well. Our third and final option is going to be a 20% downhill adjustment. So you're going to add 20% to your tee shot so it doesn't fly too far and land in the rough and then put you in a position where you're in the trees and in the rough and you're going to struggle to make par. So you make sure you give yourself enough room prior to the fairway end and the beginning of the rough in those trees, and then you give yourself 20% adjustment off of that, full top spin, full left curl, and run it through the rough and those trees and let it trickle out onto the fairway down into that same area where the bottom of that hill commences with the shadow. And then you have your options again, Saturn Backbone, bump off of the pad, and or possibly a Goliath straight into the fairway, depending on your club strength, as well as the back spin and how confident you are with the accuracy of the club. So that is hole number 8. Yep, we're good with there. All right. And finally, hole number 9. We're going to finish up on the Eagle Peak course number 6 in the Eagle Peak course. And this is our final par 5 of the day. We are going to do on this hole an extra 20% adjustment on the tee shot. I was burnt on this hole last time we played it. Did not remember to make the adjustment on my tee shot. Hit it in the rough. Had to barely get it into the second pad. And then, of course, had a long iron in there and made birdie, which put me out of a medal. So we are very acutely aware of the tee shot. So we're going to take the black line. We're going to get it down there where our club is going to be efficient. And again, if you're medium to low, what you may have to do here is overpower the shot, use a Titan ball or a Power 3 ball where you're going to be able to get it down there and bounce it significantly hard and either just barely make it into the second fairway and roll it out to the landing zone out there, or you're going to have to give it overpower, full top, and bounce it and just catch that last cut of rough and roll through and roll out into the fairway. Those are really the options with medium to low rookie clubs. So let's talk about the first option, which is you successfully bounce it into the fairway and it rolls out towards the middle 2/3 of the top fairway. You then have two options. You can use a wood club, a big dog, a Viper, whatever you want to do. And there's two options. You can see you can bounce it in the fairway and bounce it over and try to make an albatross by bouncing it in the fairway over the rough and then have it come in to the hole. Or you can have a rough bump where you can probably add another 10% adjustment. If you're going to go for the rough bump, you're going to have to add 10% because it is going downhill. And you're going to have some top spin, and you're going to have to make a perfect adjustment. And if I remember right, the ball needs to be on the left-hand side of the cup when it's coming out of that rough. For some reason, it jumps forward and then jumps to the right. So keep that in mind as well. Secondly, if you don't make it over the rough completely and it just trickles onto the fairway and you're on the back front third of that pad, second fairway, you're going to have to use a wood no matter what. So a big dog on board would not be a bad idea at all. Or again, a Viper, a hammerhead, where it's going to give you a lot of distance, which is combined in the air plus its top spin. So you'll need that on this hole so that you can get your ball down there off of the fairway, through the rough, and just short of the green so you can chip it in. Or if you're fortunate enough to get a really good bounce and a good roll, get through the fairway and get on the front edge of the green and make your eagle putt. Finally, on the right-hand side here, the only reason you're going to be going this way is if you have a headwind or a side headwind from right to left or from left to right, which in most cases we don't have that. We have a tailwind. So that's why it's in red. You're going to have to do a slice shot out there, keep it in the fairway to that red circle. Then you're going to have to hit a big dog or a very long long wood with either a draw and top spin and full left curl to try and get it on the green. Or if you're back far enough, you might even be able to try taking it over that left set of trees, hit it into the rough with a rough bump, and then try to move it forward with full top spin and get it on the green that way for a birdie or an eagle. But that is just, in my opinion, too much work and too many obstacles and too many precise adjustments for this hole. What do we have? Anything else? Nope, we're good. 20% adjustment on the tee shot. Second shot, if you're going over that to the left side and taking it straight at the pin, you need another 10% adjustment on the second shot. That is what we have today. This is the rookie for medium to low clubs. And I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoyed the information. Good luck on Monday in your qualifying rounds. And then I hope to see everybody on Thursday, Friday for a couple more streams and some more videos on performance. And then into the weekend round where we all are going to be actually doing our best for the banners. Okay, it was a pleasure. I appreciate you all coming, and have a great night.
1, 2, 3, jump!